friends, welcome to Creating with Jovi and welcome to Out with a Bang 26. This is not my official video. I did an official video on the 4th of this month and I'll be doing my other official video on the 23rd. However, this is the opening of the first process for creating an altered book junk journal. I've used Julie's kit, which is heirloom sunflowers. Please be sure to check out Mandy and Julie. Mandy is with Sunflower Indoors. Julie is with Julie's Papercraft. And there's collaborators every single day of the month this month. So I hope that you are following along, giving the other collaborators some crafty love, checking out their videos, and even creating along with us, right? That would be so fun. The prompt that I need to follow is earth-toned layers. So that's what we're going to be working on today. And also tomorrow, this is going to be a 3-part series, if you will. And today will be process video, tomorrow will be process video, and then the flip through of the completed journal will be on the 23rd. All right, let's get started. I thought what I would do is take this vintage book and alter it. I toyed with the idea of using this cover because it's kind of cool and it's in such good shape. But then look at this, and it's like fabric and it's beautiful. And look at this. Look at that spine. Isn't it gorgeous? The first thing I'm going to do to alter this book, and there's many ways to alter a book, so I'm just going to do one of the creative ways to alter a book. But I'm going to remove some pages from the book to give us some room to add the layers that we want to add. Usually you remove 7. You can use a razor tool. You can tear it. This book is sewn together, so tearing it might affect the sewing. So I'm just going to go ahead and use my razor tool. This is an old mat, so I don't mind using this with my razor tool. And they're made for that anyway, but if I really have to go to town, I don't mind if this gets score marks on it. You might want to stand up so you can put your weight into it. I am standing. All right, my friends, so I got those cut out. Usually you remove 7, keep 1, remove 7, keep 1, but depending on what the images are, I might change that up a little bit, okay? So if you're altering a book along with me, go ahead and do that. Remove 7 to 1, and your book does not have to have images. It can be plain. Then you can add your own stuff to it. All right, my friends, I wanted to show you that these are the pages that I removed from the book. You can see it's quite a few. And this is the book, and I'm going to stand it up so you can see the spine and you can see the space in between the pages. And that's exactly what we want so that we can add pockets and tags and layers and all of that good stuff. So I just wanted to show that to you. And now we're ready to move on to the next step. All right, my friends, and as we start to get into this, I want to talk about earth tones since that is my prompt for today. And earth tones are exactly what it sounds, a palette of colors inspired by the natural world, such as soil, foliage, stone, and sand. And I think that this printable kit is going to be perfect. We have a lot of natural tones in here. We have wood. We have the backgrounds have the color of, well, we do have some greens in here, and I am going to use them because they're gorgeous. Well, greens are a natural color. Foliage, right? Earth tones could be ocean colors too. Let's not forget about that. So I think this kit's perfect for it, and that's what we're going to use for our layers. I just wanted to cover that with you before we got started. And the colors of earth tones generally feature a brown or gray base, and you can definitely tell that when you look at a palette of earth tones. All right, my friends, so the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to take these. Now, I just simply cut this in half, and we're going to take these and embellish this front page with them, and I'm going to tuck them up close, but not so close that they get bound up into the spine. So I want to get to the edge, but not to the point where there's a problem. And that's the first thing we're going to do to begin this altered book. All right, my friends, and now we're going to go ahead and add a definition up here. I'm going to pull it over to the edge actually. And then that's half of it. And then we're going to put the rest of it here. Oops, let me straighten this out. It's not straight. There we go. Okay, I think it's straight now. We're going to pull this down just a little further. Let's see. Let's go right here. You know what? Maybe let's go right here. Across this way. That looks interesting. I have this die cut here and it's got some green on it and I like that. And so we're going to go ahead and pop this right over here. And we're going to keep this page really clean and really simple. I may come back later and add something, but I may not. I might just leave it just the way it is as a nice introduction to the rest of the book. It was a nice way to get warmed up. And now we're going to move forward. And we're turning the page. We're also going to, in a very simple way, alter this page. I have this vintage, this is a music book cover. This is the back of the cover, and this was the front. Super old, this is probably over 100 years old. Let me see if there's a date on it. I might have ended up cutting it off because it was really, really large. But this is pretty cool. And so I thought what I'd do is cut it to size and then attach it to this side of the cover, and then we're going to embellish it with some of the printable kit. All right, my friends, now we're going to go in with part of the printable kit by Julie's Papercraft, and this is Heirloom Sunflowers, and this is the kit that I've been using for both of my projects. I'm going to go ahead and fussy cut this out, and then we're going to add this suitcase to the page with the beautiful lady, so on this side. I've got this fussy cut out, and I'm going to go in with a little bit of brown ink just to get around those edges. Gives it a little pop, and then it also covers any white that I might have left on there inadvertently. All right, I am going to pop this down here in the corner as if she's preparing for a trip. All right, my friends, now we're going to add this little umbrella that I fussy cut out of the kit. I'm tucking it a little bit underneath the suitcase, but we're also going to have it sort of leaning on the suitcase. I was going to put it up here, but it was a little bit too small in size to look right. So we're just adding it down here. I think it looks super cute. All right, on this page, we're going to go ahead and create our first pocket. So I'm going to use some of the original book page. This paper is so thick. This book is incredible quality. I am going to attach this to it, and then I'm going to cut it out and then turn this into the pocket. But before I attach it, I am going to go ahead and get a little bit of brown ink around it. All right, for this first pocket, we're going to go ahead and do a very simple pocket. And I think what we'll do, we could do a couple different things. We could have it glue these three sides down and have the pocket here, that's what I was thinking of doing. Or we could just glue these two sides down and have the pocket like that. But I think I'm gonna have it just right here. It's a big enough piece. We'll be able to fit a good size tag or whatever in there. And I just wanna make sure I glue down the right sides. I don't wanna put glue on the wrong sides of it, but we got it. Here we go, our first pocket. All right, my friends, we have our first tag, and we are going to go ahead and slide that tag right into our first pocket. Super simple, easy way to get warmed into creating an altered book journal. All right, my friends, so this is the next page, and I thought what we would do is capitalize on this right here. So I fussy cut out this from the Printable, and we're just gonna pop it right on top of this existing image. I just think that looks so cool. Then we'll do something down here for adding a pocket, perhaps. All right, I got my glue on there. And we're gonna put this right in place. I can't believe it's like the perfect size. I think that's so cool. I love how that looks. All right, my friends, next up, we have this vintage piece of paper, and it has such a cool texture. Listen to it. So like it's crunchy. It's not like this is a different sound. You know, so it's crunchy, and you can see it's naturally aged, which is great. It's from the 1987. It is vintage. So I want to use it because it's different, and we're going to partially cover it, but I love the color. I love the sound of it. So we're going to put that down as our base. I had toyed with the idea of flipping it over and using the opposite side. I think that would have looked really cool too, because you could see the writing coming through. But I decided I'd just go ahead and use this side and work with it and see what we can kind of come up with. This will give it some cool texture, I think, and some interest. This had been torn, and I like that, so we're just leaving it on there. All right, I have some scrap of the kit that I had used for my first project. So let's go ahead and just tear this, and just gonna tear it, and then we're gonna put it on this page. We're gonna start creating layers. And then the other thing I have is this beautiful vintage photo. This was given to me by my friend Rosemary of Rosemary You Rock Art. And this woman is wearing a dress with sunflowers on it. So we're gonna honor her, and we're gonna pop her in to this page here. And I think that'll be pretty cool. Let's go ahead. We're gonna get some ink on this, and then we're gonna glue this down. This is another page that I started to use, so let's go ahead, let's tear this out. The shape does not really matter. We're just gonna tear it, have a little fun tearing. I love to tear paper. I love to tear paper, and I love to sew paper. Let's go ahead and just get all these cut edges off. There we go, that looks nice and organic. And then let's go ahead, get some ink around here. Oh, and you know what I was thinking? Well, hold on. Let me get this ink on here. We're gonna try something on for size. Okay, so we got our photo, and I'm just gonna pop her here. I'm thinking here-ish. Ooh, maybe here. But then I was thinking I could put this like over her, but I think I'm gonna put this under her and then actually figure out where I want her, and then I will add some flowers around her. So anyway, I wanted to try that on just to see, but I think I like this over here like this. So let's go ahead and get that glued down. Let's go ahead and add a little bit of brown ink around the edges here. Actually, I had another idea. I was thinking, let me grab a piece of paper and let me put this here, and then let me see what happens if I rub this ink around. It might not rub around. I wasn't sure if it was going to dry on there, but I just kind of want to rub it around a little bit. Let me get a little bit more on the edges and see if I can get it to move around. And if not, I'm perfectly fine with that. But I just wanted to experiment and see. Oh, I like it. I like the color that it is. Okay, I'm happy with that. I think that looks pretty cool. And then I was thinking this is stiff enough that I could turn this into a pocket also. And that might be a fun, unique idea. If I just glue her right here like that, and then have a pocket for a small piece of ephemera or a tag or, you know, just something like that. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, we're gonna let that dry, but while it's drying, we're gonna go ahead and pick out some ephemera to put on here. All right, my friends, so I've got some pieces that I want to attach to this pocket. That was a piece of ephemera, and then this is a cut apart from the printable kit. We're gonna go ahead and add this right here. I think that looks so stinking cute. And then I went ahead and I created a postcard. I used book page for the back of it. The margins are really wide on the book pages, which was great. So this mostly is clear. There's a little bit of type here, but I think that's kind of cool. So we're gonna go ahead and pop that into this pocket. All right, my friends, I'd like to add a phrase here. So I have this, the colors are just absolutely perfect. We'll use reflection, and it says, reflection, contemplation, a thoughtful idea to think about. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna add glue. I always like to add glue to my stickers, just to make sure they actually stick. I'm going to put this here. And then these are really long. They're like 12 inches long, so I've cut them. Yep, there we go. This is gonna work out perfect. Then this is going here. And then the rest of it, this little small part, is gonna go underneath the other one. So we'll have 3 lines, which I think looks great, takes up some of the white space. And we'll pop this right over here. There we go. Now we're gonna take this. I went ahead, I fussy cut it out, as you could see. I inked it. And now I'm going to turn it into a pocket for tickets. So you could see I just glued it on 3 sides. And now we're gonna lift that up and we're gonna pop this right, you know what, right here. I'm gonna cover up that little elf because it fits nicely here. I'm going to add some of these sunflowers, and you can see that I'm using my decorative edge scissors to fussy cut them out because it would take forever, well, not forever, that was a strong word, but it would take a while to cut them out with regular scissors. So this is a much more efficient way to do it. And then we add ink to the edges and it looks great. Okay, before we put those on, I wanted to show you, I wanted this to dry a little bit, but I wanted to show you that. We're gonna go ahead and pop a couple tickets in there. I went ahead and I fussy cut these from the printable, and we're just gonna pop those right in this little envelope. I think that looks super cute there. And then now we need to go ahead and ink the edges of these. And I'm gonna get a little bit more brown ink here. My friends, I went ahead and I chose a page from the printable and I went ahead and glued it down onto the back of this one, obviously. And now I'm going to take this frame and I'm going to glue this photograph to the back of it. And I'm thinking it could be a pocket. I don't see why it couldn't be. It could just be a focal point, which is amazing. It looks beautiful. But I'm thinking maybe we could use it as a pocket. like this? What if we placed it like that? Right? I'm thinking so. So what I would do in that case is make sure I glue this down, but then also probably back it so that the tag doesn't catch on the photo. I need to make sure the tag is not going to catch on the corner. While that's drying, I'm going to go ahead and tear this paper and get it prepped for this page over here. Now I'm going to go ahead and ink up these white edges. I got the edges inked and I got the back glued, and we are going to pop it down right here near the bottom. Oh, and let me get it away from the spine. I don't want to get too much stuff tucked up in there. Let me make sure. Yeah, we're good, because it can get bound up in there and I don't like that. And before I move forward, I'm going around the edges with ink. All right, I am holding this down with 2 fingers because that's where the glue is going to be. It's going to be right around this way, right? So if I hold this down on this page probably lays flatter. We might try it out on this one. But let's give it a try over here first. And here is our bingo card. I don't think it's a problem. Let me try it over here and see if it's even less of a problem, because that's smoother. We're going to put it over here. Okay, we'll do something else over here. Actually, this page we could leave clean as like a journaling page. Not sure. We could do like a small pocket, and then the rest of this could be, because you could easily write over that with a black pen. I don't think that would be any problem at all. We'll put some thought into that while we're putting this one together. All right, so since we're switching gears and we're going to do the photo over here, that means it would go about here. I'm going to test it one more time. That would go there. I feel like let's do something here on the edge. I've got this. This was the cutoff from over here. I could put this at the top. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, let's put this at the top right here. Bring some additional color in. I'm going to fold this so I know that I'm going to cut it right there. I'm going to add some glue. All right, we have a vintage handwritten letter from 1985. I think I'd like to take a strip of this and just put it right across here. Of course, we're going to tear it. Just like that, and put it right there. I think that adds some cool interest. What do you guys think? We could move it down here. Oh, that's interesting too. What else are we putting here? I haven't decided yet. Okay. I'm just going to do it. I'm going for it, okay? We're going to go ahead and do that now. And let's go ahead. We've got a little bit of ink left on here. Let's go ahead and just add a little bit of color to this. Fit into the page more, right? Okay, I like it. Actually, we had decided we were going to put this on here. Okay, let's go ahead and get this glued down now. I think it's going to work fine. Let's test our size real quick. So we've got these, we've got this. If it tucks into about there, that's perfect. It could probably end up tucking in further, but this is really stiff, so it might not. And that's perfectly fine. I can pull this down here a little bit too, actually. How about right there? I like that placement. All right, right there on these music lines. Okay, perfect. And we're going to add glue just down this edge here. And some here as well. I added a pretty decent amount of glue just because this is such a stiff piece, and I don't want it to, I don't want it to be vulnerable to peel up at any point in time. And here we go. And I'm going to keep it away from this part where this folds. So I need to come in at least this far. So if I measure this out, yeah, and I might even come out a little bit further just for safety's sake. Before it glues down all the way, let's just test it. Oh yeah, that's plenty of room. I like that. That's gonna work out great. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and let that dry. Then we'll pop this in the pocket. And while we're waiting for this to dry, we can go ahead and work on deciding if we wanted to do anything on this page. Okay, I have made a decision. This is a nice felt sunflower, and it's so cute, and I want to bring some more sunflower over to this page. And I've pulled out a bunch of papers, you know, throughout, so we've got space depth to be able to add this. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. I'm going to use this, it's called the Ultimate. I haven't used it yet, but it says it's the only non-toxic water-based super glue. Adheres to metals, plastic, glass, and more, which I'm sure means it would easily glue this flower down for me that is felt. I'll put a generous amount on here just to make sure. I'm loving this so far, how it's coming along. I hope you guys are too. And I think that is the perfect addition. I'm really happy with that. So since I haven't decided about this page, and I'm really tempted to leave it as a journaling page, that's what I'm gonna do, okay? Before we move forward, let's go ahead and add our bingo card. Ah, I love it. I love how that turned out. Shall we have some fun with this guy? I think maybe. And let's put him over here, and let's just start by gluing him down. Let's just do that. All right, now here we go. Now we're going to take this book page, and we are going to, well, I'm going to trim this and straighten it out. The rest of it's perfectly fine. And then I'm going to tear out the center around him. That's going to be our first layer. Let's go ahead and get this part done here. Okay. And then, you know what? Let me actually take a little bit off the bottom. Because I think it might be nice if it's a little bit smaller than the book page that is still attached. Yeah, I like that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and ink the edges of it. And I'm also going to ink the edges of the book page real quick. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to feel around and see where the photo is. All right, the photo is just above the title here, A Midsummer's Night's Dream. We're going to start tearing just below that. Widthwise, oh yeah, widthwise, wow, we're all the way over here. So I've marked it a little bit with my thumb. So we want to make sure we're inside of these lines. Where's the side? Here is, let me peek so I can find it. Oh, the side's right way over here. Okay. Now I kind of know that I want to tear inside of the lines that I just made. Okay, let's have a look. Okay, I think we could go, this is not bad at all. We could go a little bit bigger over here. All right, let's check that out. Oh, I like it. I like it. Yeah. Now what we're gonna do is ink right around these edges. Okay. And now I'm gonna go ahead and glue this into place. All right, my friends, I have my tearing ruler here, and we are just going to go ahead and tear these edges off of this paper here. Okay, we need to go a little bit more. Okay, we're getting there, my friends. And there it is. I like it. Okay, great. And now I'm going to go ahead and put the ink on the inside of that. All right, my friends, on this layer, we're going to add some flowers. And now we're going to add one more layer. All right, my friends, I have cut this one out to be just a little bit smaller than the large one here. Okay, so it's going to fit on about like that. And now we have to cut this out to expose the other layers. So let me just poke a hole in the center. And I'll tear, and then we'll just experiment with it. Yeah, I think so. I want to definitely expose the flowers. You know what I could do? Hold on. Let's try to get this here, and then maybe I could feel the outside of that one. I don't know, that paper's a little bit thinner. Let me peek. Okay, you know, I could do little bends. Let me bend the paper and know that I'm gonna tear right at the bend maybe. Okay, that's maybe not a bad idea. Oh boy, that's pretty. Oh wow, that's super pretty. Okay, let's glue it down. Oh, nope. Let's ink it up first. I have a piece of ephemera here. It's authentic, vintage ephemera. I am going to tear this out and use it because it says space lot number 3, block AA, purchased by N.W. Musgrove, dated 2/4/1904, Goldsboro, North Carolina. I think it's cool. We're going to use it. Add a little ink around it. And let's decide where it might go. It could go here. That's kind of cool. It could go here. I might like it better up here. I don't hate that. Here. Oh, that's kind of cool. I like that better actually. Oh, let's put it there. All right, my friends, I fussy cut out this piece of ephemera and we're going to put it right down here. I want this flower sort of showing through and pull that down just a little bit. Got some nice layers going on here. Okay, my friends, I took this was a half of a page of the Printable. I mounted it on a book page and I inked around both edges. And now we're going to pop it over here and we are going to make this a pocket. And then we're going to pop this bingo card in it. I've glued it on 3 sides, 1, 2, 3. And now we're going to pop it on the page. All right, my friends, I am going to pop this page from the book into the pocket as well, because it's got some art on it, and then it's got some parts of the story that you can read, and then we've got the bingo card. Now, I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with the bingo card. I'm going to pop this right here, like that. But then the bingo card, we're going to go ahead and take and put sideways like this, and it sticks out perfectly. Well, my friends, that's going to be it for this video. Join me for the next video, and we will progress in this fantastic altered book. Thanks for watching. See you soon.